computer. Excellent. So I'll be sharing my screen. I'm going to go through my PowerPoint presentation. Today it's our 5th day in the Tech Days for 2022, and as you know, tomorrow, since we've rescheduled the webinars, tomorrow will be the last day for robotics. I'll be sending a reminder message for all those who subscribed already for the robotics workshop. Today is really an interesting webinar that you will be I'll be showing you on how to teach Scratch in a secure and educational way. I know very well that for you as ICT teachers, Scratch is not really a challenge for you, since you can find lots of resources in our books. In right click you have resources starting from grade 3, but I want to focus or to highlight on some scope and sequence and steps in order to make it clear and easy for you. If you have any recommendation, as usual, please send them to the chat. I know that you are asking, many of you are asking for the certification. I say it again and again that by Friday, maybe I have to finalize them, since I have a huge number of certification for the different workshops, and you will be receiving them by email. So by Monday, if you will not receive them, please let me know. At the end of the session, I'll give you the link to fill your information regarding the how to fill in your data. Excuse me, but I have a call in parallel. Little bit lost. So I will try to make the PowerPoint presentation quickly in order to give time for practice. So Scratch from grade 1 till grade 6. I'll minimize the participant screen. Then after you'll, as you know, Scratch is worldwide #1 in as a software in teaching coding for kids, to initiate them on how coding is and how to manipulate. And actually it's free, and it's developed by MIT University, and it focuses on skills in algorithm and coding for kids. So teachers must know that. Maybe not all of you knows that Scratch exists in 3 versions. We have the first version, which is Scratch Junior, dedicated for grade 1 and 2, and recently there is a version for the computer. Before it was only for iPads, now for tablets. Now it's available for even desktop and computer. So you can start introducing coding and algorithm even from grade 1. And in our next version of update for grade 1, 2, 3, we will be updating, and we will be adding Scratch Junior for this curriculum. Next, you have the Scratch, the latest version, which is Scratch 3.0, available on computers for grade 3 and up. And of course, you have the online version. So here, if you are teaching online and you don't have to ask students to download the Scratch program, it's possible to go through scratch.mit.edu in order to ask them to create those manipulation on Scratch. So 3 versions, Scratch Junior, Scratch Offline, and Scratch Online. At the beginning of this chapter, teachers are asked to communicate to the parents the 3 links to have access to Scratch. For those who are using our curriculum, they can find on our digital platform 01.education all the links they need in order to download in a safe way and secure way those 3 versions. Like that, they can communicate to parents. Scratch Junior is convenient to students in grade 1 and 2, as I said before. Scratch 3.0 from grade 3 and up, logically speaking, till grade 3. You have to know that if you are facing some problem in choosing or the language in Scratch, you can convert it to any language that you want by clicking on the icon of the earth here, and you can change the interface. The 3 manipulations that we are or you have to explore with your students are basically 3 manipulations. First of all, you have to show them how they can draw shapes, and this is the starting point in Scratch for students. This manipulation will develop skills in calculation, in geometry, in design, in algorithm, and in coding. The second section in Scratch that you can explore with your students is how to create stories and dialogues, and this manipulation will develop skills in dialogue, in communication, in creating scenarios, algorithm, and coding, of course. And the third part, which is how to create a game, and this part will be for level 2 Scratch in the near future. In the Google form that you will be filling at the end of this section, there is a question if you are interested in knowing better how to create games in Scratch. So please choose the option to be part of the next advanced session for Scratch. So 3 manipulations. While manipulating Scratch, which is linked directly to developing skills even in STEAM. So students are asked to develop skills in coding by mastering algorithm, loops, conditions, variables, routine, etc. So all those skills in coding, they will be developed while teaching students Scratch. And by that, once reach grade 6, they will be ready to understand all the concept of programming and to start coding with small basic and later on with Python. So as final projects, here I highly advise you to go and search on internet for what we call the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations. And in order to create stories or games related to one of the 17 topics. As you know that United Nations set different goals, 17 goals, in order to promote actions in, like you are seeing on the screen, for no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality in education, climate action, life below water, life on lands, recycling, and so on. So that's why it's a must for you in order to develop projects with your students to choose something that is related to beneficial for students. And on our digital platform, you can find also resources for that. Also, as final projects, when using Scratch, you can create stories, and those stories you can get inspired from this link, which is code.org/educate/CSC, computer science connection. So here you are connected through computer science, the skills that you are teaching. Muhammad, there is, I have to accept. Okay, so through ICTs, through computer science, you are connected to literature, poem art, to science, to math. So you can find all those connections by visiting this website. Next, also as a final project, when using Scratch to draw shapes, teachers, ICT teachers can collaborate with the math teachers in order to be aligned with the skills in geometry. So I believe that for each level in math, there is some skills to be developed in calculation, in geometry. So ICT teachers must be aligned with those skills. So please refer to the math teacher in order to be aligned and not to give them something that is not in their program. So imagine if you are talking like angles, 90 degrees, and for grade 1 or 2, so that they will not understand what you are talking about. So in case students don't have previous knowledge in Scratch, teachers are asked to show the different sections that form the welcome screen in Scratch and the relation that exists between them, which is this section is really clear in our curriculum. Always start with the part that shows how to draw geometrical shapes. So even if you have, or if your students have already knowledge in Scratch, it's really a must, since this section will make students aligned with a certain discipline of working to be organized. And as we all know, in computer science, in coding, if you are not as students, if students are not well organized and see clearly what they are aiming for, or the target they are reaching, they will be lost somewhere. After that, you will be showing them how to draw simple shapes. As you can see here, when you move blocks like move and turn 4 times, and you will execute the program, students will notice that nothing happens. So that's why here you are asked to introduce after that the pen tools that is added to the Scratch program in order to make the sprite draws shapes. So once the square is drawn, students will be facing a major problem, which is how to draw the second shape and how to delete the figure. And here, actually in Scratch, it's not clear. So I mean that there is no one function which is called the rubber, or to erase all and to reset. I mean, there is no button which is the reset button. That's why students must be used to create, each time they will be using drawing shapes, to build manually what we call the eraser, which is the 4 blocks, which are the pen up, the erase all, go to 0, 0, and then point in direction 90. So this block or this script, in other term, is really essential in order to develop many figures at the same time, and not to be obliged to quit Scratch and to go back inside. So quickly, as simple shapes to be manipulated with students introduced to Scratch are the square, the rectangle, to draw stairs, to use the pen up and pen down, and some blocks to manipulate the pen color, the pen width, the pen size. So in order to start creating attractive shapes. At this stage, no need to explain for students how to change the background and the sprite. So try to focus only on what we call shapes, calculation, and drawing geometric shapes. Later on, once you reach the second section, which is creating stories, you will be working with the background, how to change a background, how to draw a background, and even how to change the sprite, or how to change to draw a sprite. And we will be working on this even today. So for higher grades, starting in grade 4, let's say, you have to introduce the repeat block. So and then after the embedded repeat block that I'll be showing you right now, the procedure and the step-by-step to go through this manipulation. And the second section will be manipulating the sprites and how to draw a sprite. Then after, how to choose a background or to draw a background. And as I said before, the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goal, that you can get inspired from those 17 topics in order to ask them and to make this awareness for your students regarding clean water and sanitary, related to sustainable cities and communities. And this is related to what we are talking about, and we've talked about previously, regarding the IoT, regarding the artificial intelligence. So all those topics, instead of doing anything without any mean in Scratch in creating stories or games, you have to be focused on issues and subjects that are really important for the future of our kids, since ICT cannot be isolated from the environment that we are living and the other topics that are given in our schools. So the presentation is almost done. I will be giving more time for practice. So once I click on the Scratch 3.0, as you can see, please can you raise your hand to just to confirm me that you are seeing Scratch. Excellent. So if now I'll be first of all, I'm really happy to have almost 100 participants for this webinar, and since the beginning the same number of participants is almost stable, which means that you are enjoying this webinar, and I'm really happy to share with you as teacher all those skills and technology that we are developing. I thank you, and I really appreciate your participation and your trust in what we are doing. And you can contact me and communicate with me anytime you need via WhatsApp in order to have any explanation. So if you are using, or if you were using, you are using previous version of Scratch, let's say Scratch 2.0 or 1.4, maybe you know that the pen tool is embedded with the main category that are on the left. But in Scratch 3.0, the pen category is not available within the default categories. We have to add it. So as you all know, I have to click on the add extension, which is on the left bottom corner. Once I click, you can see that you can add the category in music, in pen, in video sensing, in text speech and translate, and make money, makey, microbit, and the Lego education, and the Lego boost. So once I told you yesterday, or even before, maybe regarding microbit, that this is the major microcontroller that should be given to students. And here is the example to improve what I've said before. As you can see in Scratch, you cannot find other than the microbit for lower grades. So you have many microcontrollers for lower grades. This is true, but the only one embedded in Scratch, it's microbit, which means that we are right in our choices, and to embed and to implement the microbit in our curriculum. Right click. So I click on the pen tool to add the category, but before that, you can see that even a video sensing and text to speech and translate, which are related to a little bit what we call the artificial intelligence and other new technologies that will be developed later in a next level, advanced level. I click on the pen tool, and the pen category is added here with all the blocks available. I'll be moving directly in order to start the presentation. I'll be choosing from the pen tool, the erase all, pen up, erase all, and from motion, I'll be taking go to 0, 0, and set direction, point direction in 90 degrees. So this is what we call the eraser. And if I want to make a faster control or for those blocks, I will move the when space is pressed, and I will be making the E, the letter E, which means the eraser. So in such a case, each time I will be pressing the E letter from the keyboard, the sprite will execute all those 4 blocks, which are the eraser. So then after, what I'm trying to show you right now is how to lead with your students. Okay, so I'll be moving the move block, move 100 steps and turn 90 degrees. I'll be duplicating them, 4 times. And once I click on the first block, so you see that the sprite is not moving. Actually, it's moving, but it's very fast. That's why I have to make to add the wait 1 block between each move. And then after, if I click on the first block, you will see that the sprite is moving. By pressing on the letter E, you can see that the sprite will take the initial position as if we click on the reset button. So why the sprite is not drawing a shape? This is what you are asked to do with your student, simply because there is no the pen down on the top of the blocks. So now I can click, and then after the sprite will be drawing this shape. So from here, you can go through all the shapes you want: the rectangle, the stair, the triangles, the dotted line, any shape that you want in this classic way. And then after, you have to go through what we call the repeat block, and then to delete all those repeated block and to put just the 3 blocks, and on top of them I'll be moving and putting what we call So I'll be choosing here the letter S. Sorry, excuse me. The letter S for square, and I'll be repeating only 4 times to draw the square. I type on the letter E to erase all my drawings, and by pressing on the letter S, the sprite will be drawing a square. E, all is erased. I will duplicate the entire block and I will choose the letter R for rectangle. I'll be duplicating the 3 blocks, and instead of moving 100, I will be moving 50 in order to draw a rectangle. I press on E to erase. I press on R to draw the rectangle. I move the sprite. I press on, excuse me. I press on S to draw the square. So what I'm trying to show you right here is that from the beginning, we are showing students how to get organized. I mean, to create the eraser, to create a script to draw a square, to build the script to draw a rectangle, to create another script to draw the triangle, and here I have to make a turn of 120, and to turn 3 times, since the triangle has 3 sides. Here maybe I did a mistake, which is for the repeat it should be 2 times for the rectangle. So as you can see, I can create as many scripts as I want, and this is your main target that you should be aiming for, which is to get students reach the point of creating many scripts in order to build many figures, and by pressing different letters from the keyboard, they will be drawing the appropriate figure. Once this section or this part is done, you will be moving on developing a new skills for higher grades. I mean here like grade 5, 6, maybe 4, I don't know the level of your students, but which is the embedded repeat. I'll be moving and I'll be focusing on one shape, which is the square. I'll be keeping this one. So you will be starting your example with a simple repeat, and you will be asking your students, what will happen if I move another repeat which is bigger than the smallest one, and it will be repeated 10 times. So here you have to wait from your students the answer. What will happen if I have a repeat inside a repeat? And you will be waiting for different answers. After those answers, you will be executing, or you will be giving them the solution that the square will be repeated 10 times. And here, the major question that should be asked, what if I move a, let's say, turn 15 degrees and we place it between the 2 repeats? And here the game will start, and advanced shapes and attractive shapes will start to be reproduced. So once you place any block between the 2, we will be watching what will be happening. So I click on the S. You will see that the first square is drawn, a rotation of 15 degrees is done, and then after, another square is made we will be waiting to draw 10 squares, since the repeat is for, the bigger repeat is for 10. So here you will be asking them to do many manipulation in order to understand more and more the embedded loop. And as you know, the embedded loop is very important for the future softwares that we are working with, like Small Basic or even Python, to understand the concept how to repeat a repeat. So this is really important. So here you can ask them to make, for example, a turn and a move of 20, and you will be seeing that really I will make the wait a little bit faster here. So once I click on the S, so you will be seeing that the sprite will move a little bit and turn, then after will draw. So it's another shape that will be drawn. Okay, so I believe that this section of drawing embedded shapes will be enough for you to explore the different shapes that you can imagine. Still, I have one important notion that should be given. So maybe your students will ask you how to make a complete rotation for the squares. So it's very simple for you to introduce. All you have to do is to tell them that this number, which is the number of repeat and the turn, the product of those two numbers should be equal to 360. So if I click here 36 to simplify the example, I have to make it here 10, and I will be making 0.1 to make it faster, E for erase, S for square, and as you can see here, the rotation will be 36 times, and the sprite will be drawing exactly a complete turn. So I have to wait for a few seconds, and as you can see, the sprite will not stop unless the complete turn is done. You will see that it's not really aligned, since raise, since I mean maybe I will make it 50. Maybe now it's better. So square. So now it's better. No. Sorry, excuse me. Raise. Here I have to make it move like 50 steps. All right. So S. Okay, that's it. So here you will see that the sprite is doing really a complete turn. And if you make, or if you replace the value 36 by 10, and you put down 36 degrees, so look here, it's a complete turn. Okay, and if sorry, and erase. So if you put here 10 and here 36, and you press on S, so the square will be repeated only 10 times, but at the same time, it's a complete turn. Okay. Now, another skill that you should be exploring and developing with your students is how to reproduce geometrical shapes, but not as I shown you here. If I want to place, for example, 3 squares in a horizontal line and separated by, let's say, 20 steps. So here, really, it's a very important skill to develop with your students, since they have to make more and more the imagination of how the sprite will reproduce this manipulation. So I'll be showing you that if I draw here, if I draw a square, sorry, I have to make it a little bit bigger, 100, repeat 4 times, erase. So the pen tool, pen down. Okay, so imagine that the sprite has to draw another square here, separated with 20 steps between the two squares. So what I have to do is to place it inside. I will make it back 50, and between the two repeat, I have to imagine what the sprite should do in order to be placed at the same position as if it has to draw the first square. So logically speaking, the sprite should take the pen up, move 50 plus 20, 70. Hope it's clear. So the 70 here is the size of the square plus the 20 that should be made by the sprite in order to keep 20 steps free. Then once the sprite moves 70, here I have to put back my pen down, and by that the sprite will have the same position and the same orientation as if it was like before drawing the first sprite. So once I click on the E to erase and then sprite, so here you can see that it can reproduce 10 sprites. So it's not making the 10 since I have to make it back. Here I will make it, let's say, I don't know, like 30. And here I'll have to make it like 40. And once I click on the S, you can see that the sprite is reproducing 10 small squares exactly as I want. This manipulation, believe me, it's one of the most important manipulation to see if students really understand are understanding the concept of the embedded loop. What if I want to reproduce the squares, but in diagonal, not in horizontal, or in, let's say, in vertical way? Logically speaking, it's the same concept. So I will be, once the first square is done, I will be rotating for to the left for 90 degrees. I will make the pen up. I will move only 20, okay? And I will move the pen down. Let's try to see what it will give. Okay, so it's wrong. It's not the way I want, but it's a new figure. So in the curriculum, in the book, you have many of those examples. And if you send me, please, right now in the chat to make me remember, since I'm not taking note, just to concentrate on the workshop. So if you send me just to provide you the extra worksheets for Scratch, I'll be providing you with many of those exercises in order to get inspired. So I believe this section it's almost done. It's okay for as a concept of drawing shapes. I did not focus on how to change the color, the width. I believe it's not really important, since you know them. It's not really difficult. I'll be moving to what we call how to draw to create a story in Scratch. And I believe that many of you are waiting this section. I click on to start a new project, and I'll be focusing now on the backgrounds and on the sprite. As you can see here on the bottom right corner, you have what we call the stage, and next to it I have what we call the sprite screen. So by that, what you will be doing, if you want to change the background, you can click on the button, choose a backdrop. It's called backdrop and not background. I'll be clicking on the choose a backdrop, and I'll be selecting, for example, the blue sky background. I can click in order to select, let's say, the baseball. So the moment I'm selecting those backgrounds, you will be seeing that I can have them on the background by list. So here the backdrop will be listed in 3. And if I click on the sprite, excuse me, and if you click on customs, you will see that you will have only one sprite. So at the same time, you can click on the choose a sprite, select a sprite, and for example, I want to select, let's say, I don't know, Avery and the cat, okay, in order to create what we call a dialogue. So the major part of this section is to make students understand that when we are talking to a person, we have to wait for the question and then to answer. And this concept applies to Scratch. I mean, if you want to, let's say, the girl ask the sprite or the cat a specific question, and after that the sprite has to answer the question and so on, you have to create this scenario of waiting, and at any moment you can change the background as I'll be showing you right now. It's really a simple manipulation, this one. All what you need from students is creativity and imagination. No skills in math or in geometry or in calculation, since it's related to graphic, to animation, to scenario, to dialogue, and so on. So what I'll be doing is that I'll be going to the code section. Since I'm selecting the sprite, so you can see it here, the cat. So all what I'm doing here is for the cat, and if I want to program the girl, Avery, so I'll have to click on the girl and to create the script related to the girl. So I click here on the cat, I'll go for look, and to make all the scenario work at the same time, I'm obliged to select on the top of all the scripts the block when the green flag is clicked. So when you click on the green flag, all the scenarios will start at the same time, even for the cat, for the girl, and for the backgrounds. So for the cat, I'm moving say hello for 2 seconds, and then after I'll have to ask the girl, for example, a question which is, what is your name? So here, logically speaking, the cat will take 4 seconds to finish the introduction and the question. Okay, so it's 2 by 2. I will click on the average. I will be moving, I will be moving when the green flag is clicked, and I have to start with wait. If I click and type 4 seconds, it will be a little bit short on time. That's why I'll make it, let's say, 5 or 6 seconds. So average has to wait 6 seconds before answering. That's why I'll be clicking on wait 6 seconds. Then I'll be going to select the hi cat, my name is Avery, okay, for 2 seconds. Then after Avery will be asking, for example, what are you planning for today, for 2 seconds. Okay, so here, logically speaking, Avery took 4 seconds to talk and to display the messages. I'll be going back to the sprite, and the sprite has to wait for like 6 seconds, and the cat will reply going to the baseball court, let's say. Okay, so here at this moment we have to switch to the baseball. So logically speaking, I have to click on the backdrop, the background. I'll be selecting sorry, excuse me. I'll be selecting the switch. I'll be moving, sorry, when the green flag is clicked, the look for the backdrop at the beginning, switch backdrop to bedroom as a first start. Make it wait for I don't know if it should be 10 seconds. I'll be seeing that back, and then after switch to the second backdrop, which is the baseball. Here it should be the blue sky, excuse me. So at the beginning of my program, when I click on the flag, the backdrop blue sky will be by default displayed. It has to wait 10 seconds while the dialogue is between the Avray and the sprite, and then after I'll be switching for the baseball program. This is how you should lead with your students in introducing what we call the creating a story or a dialogue in Scratch between two sprites. So I'll be clicking on the green flag. Hello, what's your name? Hi cat, my name is Avray. What are you planning for today? Going to baseball court. And as you can see, we switch to the baseball court. Of course, we can create animation. I mean, while programming the sprite, I can make the sprite, for example, here in the control, let's say make repeat 10 times. I don't know, move 10 step, then after move minus 10 steps, and from the control I'll make it wait for 0.1 or 0.1, sorry, move minus 10 steps, and the wait is for 0.1. I'll be trying to make it again. I click on the go. As you can see, all is resetted. What's your name? And then after, the cat, it's moving at the end for 10 times. So here, all the concept of animation, of movement, of changing the color of the sprite, drawing maybe, I don't know. So it will lead to really start the imagination of your students. And here I can highly advise you, if your students know how to record their screen, once they finish the story or the dialogue between two sprites according to a really funny or serious subject, never mind, to take this story and to publish it on the social media networks of your school. And even if you can send them those stories, we can store them on our even social media network for sharing them with other schools and to show the skills of your students. I'll be showing you in for the stories and for what we call the dialogue, I believe that for you as teachers, no need to give them more than what I've showed you right now, since you have to keep the imagination and the creativity of your students leads their creation and their projects. So don't waste your time in making many sessions regarding this skill. All what you have to do is to introduce the concept, I mean the logic of developing stories, and then after they can lead in a simple way. To terminate this webinar, since it's almost 1 hour, I don't mind if I keep it for 15 minutes. I don't know if you can stay with me. You can raise your hands in order to see if it's okay with you. You can stay for more time. And if you are enjoying this webinar, in all cases, what I'll be showing you right now is how to create a custom sprite with different costumes. It's custom and custom. So it's a really interesting part that maybe it's developed in our curriculum, I think in grade 6, but we have additional resources for that. I'll be creating a new project. I'll be going to create a new sprite now, which is by selecting the paint. Okay, here I have a blank page as in paint. I'll be selecting the brush tool. I can select the widths. All the tools that you need are here. I will not waste my time to show you. It's very simple and easy. So I'll be drawing a face. Okay, let's say with a smiling face. Okay, here I can click on the cat and I delete it since I don't need it. Then after, what I'll be doing is creating many customs of this face to make a specific animation. And here, what I'll be doing is I'll be right-clicking on the first one, and I'll be duplicating the custom. Do not draw. Here there is many options, to be honest with you. For example, if you want to make the eyes moving, closing and opening, let's say, or from small to big, you can create the face without any eyes, and then after you can add the eyes on them, or you can choose another option, which is to modify the size of the eyes the moment you want. So I'll be taking the first option, which is not drawing the parts that are moving from one custom to another. So I'll be duplicating, let's say, 5 times. So it's one sprite, as you can see here down, but I have for the same sprite 5 costumes. I will be selecting the first. I'll be taking the circle to fill it with any color. Okay, I'll be drawing those eyes. I'll be moving. Maybe here I can copy. Look, I'll be trying to copy the selected object. Select the second one. I'll be pasting, and as you can see, I can make it bigger. I'll be selecting this one, copy, paste, make it bigger. I'll be selecting the 2 objects, copy. I'll pass to the third one. I paste and make them bigger. Then after, I'll paste and even bigger. I'm doing something which is a little bit comic, and then bigger. So here I have the same sprite with 5 custom. The manipulation or the animation is really simple. All I have to do, and you will be a little bit surprised with the code, all you have to do is to create on, to click on the code, on motion, I think, and the looks, excuse me, I think the next custom, which is this one. From the control, I'll be taking the, not wait 1 second, 0.3 seconds. 0. I cannot. 0. Just 1 second, please. 0. I don't know why it's not working. Wait. 0. It's not working. Okay, no problem. I'll be keeping the wait 1 second. I don't know why the keyboard is not working. And then I'll be choosing the event repeat forever. Okay, and once I click on the button, I'll be moving the when flag, green flag is okay, is clicked. It's a little bit slow, huh? As you can see. I will stop the animation. Then I don't know why. Now it's working. 0.2. I click on the flag. So as you can see, I've created the animation. I'll stop. I can at any time go to custom, click on the custom I want. For example, take the text. Hi. I'll be making it bigger. Copy, paste. I can click on the T, change. All is good. So I'm doing just examples to show you how I can create this animation. Regarding the coding, it's nothing, just to select the forever avec, with the next custom with the wait 0.2 seconds, but the main work will be on what we call the drawing and understanding this relation between the sprite and the tab of custom which are here. Even you can, for example, take the fill and change the color of the face, and here you will be having more and more additional interactivity and creativity for your students. Okay, I'll be clicking on the play and see here how it's animated. I believe that students will enjoy those manipulations. Sorry. So I'll stop sharing for a second, and then I'll try to make a recap. It's 11:03 or 12:03, depends from where you are living. So as I showed you before, the main manipulation that you are asked to do is first drawing shapes with without the repeat, with the repeat and the embedded repeat. Doing extra exercises with the additional PDF that I can be sending you later on. The second part is how to create a dialogue or a story by choosing different subjects from what I'm proposing, or even from what the school principals are asking you to do, just in case the school took, for example, recycling as subject, or the environment, or I don't know. And the third part that I've showed you today is how to create custom animation regarding the sprite by creating many costumes. I believe that this is the first level that you have to know and you have to give to your students in this way. And believe me, this is what I'm doing with my students, and the feedback is amazing. I advise you highly to adopt the same scope and sequence and the same skills. In the book, all the lessons are clear. For those who asked for a specimen, you can ask from Mr. Muhammad Nuruddin, who is with us. He can send you his number on the chat. I can answer you all the questions that you may need in a while. Once I send you the link to start filling the Google form to so I'll be sending you on the sorry everyone in the meeting. I'm sending you right now the Google form in order to fill the certificate of participation. I believe that it's really important for you to have it in your file. The next level of Scratch will be fixed soon, and it will be focusing on how to create games on Scratch. I really enjoy to share with me the projects that you are doing with your students, even by showing me the geometrical shapes that they are doing, or even the stories or the dialogues. For now, for the people who are sending me emails on the chat, I have maybe your emails, but you have to fill the Google form in order to receive the certificate of participation. I'll be unmuting you in order to for the time. So please do fill the Google form in order to receive the certificate of participation for the Scratch. I'll be unmuting you. I'll be stopping the recording